Today I will discuss the following groups of Islam: the Kharijites, the Wahhabis and the Mutazilites. In my book, Ask Your Muslim Friend, you will find these topics in section 1.6.2. These three groups date back to the time of early Islam. They erupted and divided over different opinions about the teaching and practice of their understanding of Islam. The main problems were that Muhammad himself did not give clear systematic teachings. And also Muhammad's model of practice depended on his individual experience and could be interpreted in different ways. And also the text of the Quran as such is not consistent in its teaching and is rather vague. And then also the many different hadith stories are often difficult to apply and interpret, and thus are the cause of arguments and even separation within the Muslim community. Now let us look at the main characteristics of each of these three groups. Let's listen to Sheikh Asim and what he has to say about the Kharijites.
Khawarij is a cult, it is a sect that was found at the time of the Prophet ﷺ. And their main characteristics is, one, they see it is fit and permissible to rebel and overthrow Muslim rulers.
This group originated during 656 to 661 and were the first supporters of Ali. It is also correct that they could overthrow Islamic rulers because they believed that any Muslim is qualified for the role of becoming a caliph. Now let me give you some additional insights of the Kharijites. They refused to give up on a radical, puritanical form of Islam. They held to the opinion to take drastic action against any form of compromise. They asserted that the judgment belongs to Allah alone. Concerning the four caliphs after Muhammad's death, the Kharijites adopted the position between the Sunni and the Shia. They accepted the first two, namely Abu Bakr and Umar, but rejected the third and fourth, namely Uthman and Ali. The Kharijites also professed that faith without proper deeds is useless. Anyone who commits a major sin is an unbeliever, a non-Muslim. They also advocated for the equality of women and men. Many Kharijites rejected the hadith totally. The fear of them was that it could replace the Quran. Some modern extremist groups are of Kharijites' origin. They did not have a coherent set of doctrines. Thus, different groups and also individuals adopted different views and doctrines. Basically, there were 4 main sects and about 12 minor Kharijite sects. Many Kharijites were masters in being orators and poets. Their theme was mainly piety and martyrdom. The only branch surviving the Kharijites are the so-called Ibadi Muslims. They are somewhat between the Sunni and Shia Islam. Today most Ibadi Muslims live in Oman and Algeria. Let's talk about the next group, the Wahhabis or Wahhabism. Here is Sheikh Asim's take on this.
What is Wahhabism? Actually, I don't know. There isn't anything called Wahhabism. There is a scholar who was named by Sheikh al-Imam Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, who came about 2 centuries, 3 centuries ago, roughly. And this person came at a time where the Arabian Peninsula, where we live nowadays, Saudi Arabia, used to worship idols, trees, graves, and they were far away from Tawheed. The man did not reintroduce inventing the wheel. Rather, he revived the concept of Tawheed and instructed people to go back to the Quran and the Sunnah. Simple as that.
In addition, you want to note the following on the Wahhabis. They are a militant Puritan group originating in Saudi Arabia. They form an extremely fundamentalist branch of the Sunni branch of Islam. Muhammad ibn Abd al-Wahhab is the founder, and he lived from 1703 till 1792. He aimed to return to the original teaching of Islam as taught by the first Muslims during Muhammad's time and the 4 caliphs. He and his followers led several revolts against the Ottoman Empire. The majority of Saudi Islamic scholars are considered Wahhabis. Wahhabis have mainly adopted the legal tradition of the Hanbali. The Wahhabis have a great influence worldwide since they control Mecca and Medina. The Saudis, which are mostly Wahhabis, are also funding many mosques and Islamic schools in other countries worldwide. Wahhabis prefer to be called Salafis. Today, many Muslims from this Salafi branch are very active in promoting their faith in many parts of the world, including, of course, Europe. Now let us look at the third group on which we have a look now, the Mutazilites. In this case, Sheikh Asim has nothing good to say about them and other related groups.
He says, Ahlul Kalam. Ahlul Kalam, those are the people of innovation, such as Mu'tazila, such as Asha'ira, such as Maturidiyya, those who do not follow the Aqidah of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. So can we learn from them? The answer is no. You should avoid learning from them. They're closer to philosophers. They bring things that are illogical and try to give logic to it. Keep away from it.
Mutazilites' theology originated in the 8th century in Basra, which is in Iraq, when the scholar Wasil ibn Atta left the teaching lessons of al-Hasan al-Basir after a theological dispute. As a result, he and his followers were called Mutazilites, which means to leave or to withdraw. Later, the Mutazilites called themselves people of divine unity and justice. As Sheikh Asim mentioned, the Mutazilites rely heavily on logic and different aspects of Greek philosophy, but the tenets of Islam were their starting points and ultimate reference. Mutazilites adopted the doctrine of creation ex nihilo, which means that Allah created the world out of nothing. On the other hand, most Muslims, philosophers, believe in the eternity of the world in some form or another. The Mutazilites reject the common Sunni belief of the Quran as being uncreated and co-eternal with Allah. Thus, Mutazilites asserts that Allah only is eternal and later He created the Quran. Another teaching the Mutazilites reject is the Sunni understanding of the doctrine of predestination. Traditional Sunni belief is that Allah predestines all human affairs. On the other side, the Mutazilites believe that every person is capable through human intelligence to understand religious principles such as good and evil, and thus can through unaided reason make correct decisions. Special issues which the Mutazilites attempted to address: first, was the Quran created or did it exist eternally? Secondly, was evil created by Allah? Thirdly, the degree of predestination versus free will. And fourthly, is the creation eternal or created at any one time in the history? Fifth point, how is the interpretation of Allah's attributes in the Quran understood, as allegorically or literally? We can conclude that from the early of Islamic civilization, intra-Muslim conflicts and interfaith debates were common. As a result, right from the beginning after Muhammad's death up to this day, the Islamic world experienced many divisions concerning succession, schools of theology, and thus different groups. Please have a look at the chart at the end of section 1.6.2. It gives you a good overview over the caliphs, the successors, the groups, and the different schools of laws. Dear friends, I hope you found some valuable content about this teaching. If you found this lecture helpful, please like this video. Also subscribe to this channel if you want to receive regular updates about new lectures and videos. If you have any specific questions, you can write them in the comments and I will be pleased to answer them. You can find more information in my book and download an ebook version for free on our website. See you again soon. Good day and God bless you.